Hey everyone, welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. Dr. Michelina, hashtag that felon doctor, here to talk to you about the 4 cardinal virtues. Now, I do not, the Catholic Church implements them. I think it's Plato, maybe Aristotle, like they've been around, okay? The virtues are prudence, justice, courage, sorry, there's a truck outside, guys, and temperance, right? And those are all just like kind of fancy words that fallen out of style that we don't really use anymore, that I'm going to go into in depth. So we're going to talk a little bit about prudence first. We're not prudent. We're not prudent because we're impulsive. Prudence is when you are cautious, when you are circumspect, when you take your time to make a decision. Prudence has to do with using your reason, has to do with using all your faculties to consider an entire situation. In the Bible, for those of us who are Christian, it says like, be circumspect, like walk cautiously, because your enemy, the devil, roams about like a lion looking for someone to pounce on, right? And so like we have an enemy, and I've talked about this before, I won't talk about it here, but we want to be circumspect because like there are snares and traps that are set out for us. There are a lot of temptations, okay, that are meant to distract us. I read a quote the other day and it was like, what the enemy can't destroy, he distracts, right? And so like there's so many people out there who are so distracted. Like you're distracted from anything that has real value and real purpose. So being prudent is prudent, right? It's smart to be prudent. It makes sense to be cautious. I guarantee you need this. I absolutely guarantee you there's not anybody who will watch this ever who cannot be better at being prudent. I can't imagine a way, because we're just not prudent enough in all the areas of our lives that we should be. We jump headlong into relationships before we really know what we want, if they're the person that we want, know anything about them, right? We jump headlong into new professions before we really take time to consider all the facts. We live in a world that wants to rush us, rush. And we see it all the time, specifically in like our wallets. Everybody's always, if the transaction's very quick, if the sale's like very fast, it happens a lot online now where like 1 minute you're watching something and the next minute you're putting in your credit card and you're like, what happened? Right? What the frick? It's always a hurry up. It's always an accelerate. It's always a get it involved. That's the opposite of prudence. That is not prudent at all. Prudent is, I'm going to take my time on this thing. You're not going to rush me. And you know why it's smart to be prudent? Because then you can keep your peace. If you keep your peace, you can keep your power. Rush, hurry. That's going to take your power away. When I was really working on getting better at figuring out what stole my peace, right? I was like, what puts me in a place where I'm no longer in control? Being rushed was one of the things. I was like, when people rush me, I'm not the one. And when I don't plan well enough that I'm rushing myself now, I'm going to lose my peace, and that's not good, right? So find the things where you're not being prudent. Find the places that you're being impulsive. I knew I was a reckless spender. I would impulsively spend. I was like, I want this, so I'm going to get it. And I was like, no, you don't need it. Why are you doing that? Stop it, you know? And that's still something, if I'm not mindful and very prudent, like it's an easy thing. Like I can drop $2,000 like it's not even a problem. You know, I can find one necklace that I want for $2,000, and you know, I can find one pair of Louboutins. You know, like it's not hard for me to spend money. I'll tell you that. It is hard for me not to spend money. That's true of a lot of women, I guess, but some women are better. Like they'll like my sister's really good at this. Like she's frugal, you know. I am not the one, right? So I have to be very prudent where my finances are concerned and what I'm spending. And what I have implemented for myself is, if I still need this tomorrow, if I'm still thinking about it tomorrow, if I still want it tomorrow and I can buy it twice, I'll get it. And that's not the way it's always been. I'll tell you that right now. Not at all. And so, to be more prudent, we obviously have to be more aware, and we have to put systems in place that will stop us from being impulsive. Impulsivity is one of those peace stealers, peace killers, a thing that doesn't serve you on any level. It's never good to be impulsive. You know who's impulsive? Children. Children are impulsive. Right. And so if you are still acting impulsively, somewhere you've got the mind of a child still. Because mature people can practice discipline. They can practice saying no. They can be, let me think on this. Let me wait on this. And in doing so, they keep their power. You're not going to budge them till they're ready. Now, is there a flip side of this? There's a flip side to everything, right? In that if you never make a move, that's not prudent anymore. That's stalling. Now you've stopped being prudent because you're too afraid to make a mistake. You're too afraid to take a risk. That's not good either. We'll talk about balance tomorrow when we talk about justice, but there does have to be a balance of like, I am waiting on this thing, but also I am going to take a step. I am going to make a decision. And that's prudent. So put your own fail-safes in place. Well, first you have to figure out, where am I impulsive? It could be anywhere. I mean, it could be with people. It could be with your mouth. Oh my God. My mother is such a saint. When I was a kid, I would pop off at the mouth before I even put my brain in gear, right? And my mom was always like, put your brain in gear before you put your mouth in gear. Like, I was not prudent in my speech. And that's very dangerous because your speech, your words are one of the most powerful things that you have. And you can tell when people are intentional with their speech and when they are not. I mean, you can hear it. And so your speech, your words, is a place where I used to very much be impulsive. And I would just pop out whatever I was thinking. And a lot of times it wasn't the nicest, and it got me into a lot of trouble much of the time. Till now, where everybody's like, wow, Michelina, you sound very intentional when you speak. Yeah, learn that the hard way, because your words can help or they can harm. And once you put those words out there, they ain't coming back, right? So like, you can wound. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase like, what's mightier, the pen or the sword? Like, you can run somebody through with your sword, you can kill them. But man, the damage you can do with words when you're not careful. And I guarantee every single person watching this has some insult that they have lodged in and internalized from when they were a child or younger. I just had somebody talking to me the other day, and they were telling me like about their physical body and how they were like, oh yeah, no more. I won't say it because it's not my business, but like they made a reference to some name they were called when they were younger, and they were like, yeah, no more of that. And I was like, what is that? And they were like, oh, that's what I got called when I was younger. It's like, we get picked on all the time, and then we think about it. This person's 36, going back to something they talked about when they were 20 years ago, when they were a teenager. Words hurt if we're not careful. And so prudent people weigh well their words and use them wisely. They use them intentionally. And so you can, and this is just one, I'm trying to bring to you areas where you might be being impulsive. Could be your habits, for sure, spending, sex, gambling, buying books is a thing I'm too impulsive. Like, I don't go to Barnes and Noble unless I have money, because I know we're going to spend some money. We're going to spend some money on some books, right? So like, if you know you don't have control there, maybe you want to like not go there unless X, Y, and Z is in place. The prudence game takes discipline. The prudence game, going slow in a world that wants you to go fast, takes discipline. It takes prudence. It takes mindfulness. And it is, again, the reason it's the 4 cardinal virtues is because like, this shit'll change your life if you let it. But you got to do the work. And that takes effort, because it's more of an effort to show up in discipline and prudence than it is to just like, oh, it's like going to McDonald's versus cooking a meal. Which one is better for your wallet, your nutrition, pretty much everything? Cooking the meal. But which one's easier? Go to McDonald's. 0 nutritional value, spending money you don't need to spend, lots of calories that are empty. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with McDonald's, just saying that, like, making the comparison. Anyway, so that is on prudence. I could talk more on all these things all the time, but that is on prudence. So where are you not being prudent? Where are you being impulsive? Where are you not checking yourself before you wreck yourself? That's what I always like to say. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come correct when you come to me, you know? Literally, I said that today, actually. So where do you have to come correct and slow down and get prudent and get cautious and get circumspect? And there's definitely a place. I guarantee there's nobody watching this, or nobody who will ever watch this, that is going to be like, oh, I'm so prudent all the time. It is not something that happens in this day and age, especially in the US. It's just not. Like, even in our like military, we have a hurry up and wait policy, you know? There's always a hurry. There's always a, oh, this has to get done right away. This has to get done right away. I used to tell my students, I used to tell my clients, like, your procrastination is not my emergency. Like, you procrastinated. I didn't. I will get to your shit when I get to it. If you want me to get to it sooner, give it to me sooner. Right? So prudence is a really interesting one. And hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up is the opposite of prudence. It is the murderer of prudence, right? So all that to say, I hope this is helpful. I'm really grateful to the subscriber who dropped this in the comments. I'm doing this series because they asked me to. They really liked the Vice series. They were like, hey, you should do the 4 cardinal virtues. I was like, yo, you right, I should. Let's talk about it. And so that's what we're doing here. I hope you are enjoying it. I'll be bringing the other 3 to you over the next week. And if you like what you're hearing, you want more in-depth sort of actionable step, go to acornsandoaks.vhx.tv. I've got courses there for you. And obviously we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and they're shorter there. This is kind of the longer stuff. And then like, subscribe, grow the channel, hit the bell. I'm always coming up with new stuff, and drop some comments below. Love to connect, and I will see you guys on the next video.